Hey guys, today we're going to be doing an install for an MSI gaming notebook. The actual model is the MS as in Mary Sam -16J5, as you can see here. This is a pretty basic installation, very simple too. You really don't need much tools except with a little micro star screwdriver and your fingernails. That's about it, or maybe a guitar pick. This is what it looks like here before it's been taken apart. And the part that you're going to need for this here is right here. So this is the actual part number. So being that laptop screen is probably the largest screen supplier in the world, which has like locations down in Vegas, in the UK, Toronto, Vancouver and stuff. They probably sell more screens than anybody around the world. So this is going to be the part that you'll actually need here. And as you can see, if you actually wanted a glossy finish, which most laptops, when you buy straight from Best Buy or the manufacturer and stuff, they normally equip their screens with a glossy finish, which I really don't like because you get that reflection on the screen. If you get a matte finish here, in this case here, it's a little bit more expensive. Usually the mattes are actually cheaper than the glossies, but in this case here, it's actually more expensive by about what, $12, which is really nothing anyways. And that's the only stock that they actually have right now in the Vancouver and Toronto location. So going back to the install here, it's pretty basic, and this is actually the actual part number 2, which you also saw on this website here. So if you look at this here, this is where you would be searching on laptopscreen.com, which is also the same company as screencountry.com. So just remember that. And if you go to here, it's a pretty basic disassembly. As you can see here, I literally didn't even use a tool. I just used my fingernails just to start off the prying process, just from the top right hand corner. You can do it on the top left hand corner or the side. It doesn't really matter. It's pretty simple and easy to take off. And if you move it down to the bottom here, the best place to start opening the whole bottom end, you can start it from the bottom right or the bottom left, and just use your finger and just pop it out, and then just run it from right to left or from left to right, which is pretty simple too. And once you've just remember just to kind of just pop this with your fingernail or a little pry tool, and it comes off pretty simple. As soon as you pull down the full assembly, it comes apart just like this here. And this is where you would need your star screwdriver, and there's 4 silver screws here, as you can see, 1 in each corner, 1 there, top right, and the bottom left. So once you remove these 4 screws, just put it somewhere safe. And just a closer picture, as you can see, this is what you'll be removing. So there's 1 in each corner. Once you remove that, the screen will actually, you can just pull it forward, where you'll expose the cable here, which is situated at the bottom left hand corner. And just make sure that you use your fingernail or something, a small paring knife or something, just to pop the tape off. And once you pop the tape off, just push this cable forward towards the screen bezel, and it will just pop right out. Once you have the new screen, all you have to do is just do the same repeated step and put in the new screen, which let's just pretend this is the new screen. You just put it in there, put the screws back in, and just plug in back in the 30-pin cable, which it is a 30-pin cable, and it's pretty simple. Once you've done that, you don't even need to disconnect your battery for this model, so don't worry about it. Just make sure that once you see this area here, that it goes in one shot, where the left and the right is completely parallel to this 30-pin connector that's on the on the back of your screen. And once you have that, just remember to remove the protective film that actually comes with your brand new screen. Peel that off before you put on your plastic bezel. And then once you've peeled it off, it should look like this. And start off at the bottom left and the bottom right. Just tuck these corners in there. And you don't need to squeeze them in yet, so just make sure you have it all placed right. Then once you have this place in there, start pushing it towards the rest of the rear screen bezel, and then just start squeezing in the corners from the left or the top left hand corner, and just thumb it in there with your fingers, and it'll just start clipping back in, because there's actually these plastic fasteners that will hold the plastic frame that you remove, or the plastic bezel. And once you've done that, the last part is this is where you would thumb it in, or use your fingers just to run it from one side to the other. And what I did was I just kind of just used my middle finger, which really works well, and just yeah, just kind of push this area in here. Once you push it and squeeze it, and you maybe use your left hand to brace the back end of the screen assembly while you're pushing it in. But once you push it in there, you'll start hearing it click a couple times and run it from right to left or left to right, and it is sealed. It's just that simple. I've already actually had mine powered up just to make sure that it actually flashes up perfectly fine, and as you can see, it looks perfectly good. And that is the end finish to the installation. So this is a very, very straightforward installation, nothing difficult at all. You don't need to hire anybody to do this. And we actually had another issue with this system here, because actually the client had an issue with a few burnt pins and stuff, which we had to get the board fixed. So my board specialist, he ended up fixing the board first, and then he tested and the screen was also shot. The backlight was also shot because of the short on the board. So this wasn't just a screen replacement. We had to do with this one here was also an actually board replacement, where the actual socket on the motherboard where this LCD cable plugs into the motherboard side was also burnt. So we had to fix that part first before we can proceed with this. And then we just end up getting a brand new screen for the client too. And if you go back to the cost of the screens there, Canadian dollars, I think it cost me about $145 to $147. That's including taxes and shipping through UPS Express overnight. So it's not that expensive, considering that you're getting a 30-pin screen, and the resolution on that is a 1980 by what was it? 1980 by 1080, 1920 by 1080 resolution. So there's only one resolution for this screen, so you can't go wrong with that. So I'll provide the link for this actual screen for you to buy also, just in case if you need it, if you don't have it, and that's about it. So as you can see here, it's flashing up perfectly fine, and this is the exact model MS-16J5. And thanks for watching, guys.